大家好，欢迎大家收看安娜看法节目。有句话说得好哈，律师办的不是案子，办的是别人的人生。有很多案件的当事人在面对人生重要事件的时候，知道什么时候需要律师吗？在处理简单的听证会或者是简单的案件的时候，还有必要找一位律师吗？又需要一个什么样的律师呢？今天安娜律师楼的创始人戴蜜奇 Anna Demichik 将和大家聊聊这个话题。安娜你好。
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Hello.
安娜，听说您最近通过出席听证会帮助客户翻案了哈，能否介绍一下这个案子的具体内容呢？安娜。
Yes, the case I wanted to talk about was supposed to be a very, very simple case. It did not involve any violence. It did not involve sexual assault. It did not involve drugs. But still, we ended up in a situation where, in a seemingly simple case, the hearing suddenly went wrong, and we had to fix things, and the hearing took much longer than we expected. We're talking here about the criminal cases, and in the criminal cases, I say every appearance would probably need an attorney, because in my example, the one I wanted to discuss today, the hearing itself was supposed to be very simple. It was an arraignment. An arraignment is a very first hearing that a case has. And most important things that are decided are entering the pleas, and also the judge decides on which conditions the person gets to go home, gets to be released. And the case that I wanted to discuss today, we ran into a situation where the allegations were not very serious. But because the district attorney did not have the file that they usually have for their arraignments, suddenly the district attorney was demanding a very serious restraining order for my client. And it was not my client's fault. Again, it was because the district attorney did not have the files they were supposed to have. So this very first hearing, this very basic hearing, it threatened my client's livelihood. It threatened my client's way of life for the next few months.
好，谢谢安娜的介绍哈。其实有很多朋友在听到说简单的听证会或者是简单的案件的时候，他们觉得为什么要找律师呢？这个律师到底可以做哪些内容呢？安娜。
So I think the thing where people usually go wrong is if they assume that the hearing is going to be very, very simple, so they don't prepare well and they don't have a professional on their side to take care of the situation. You know, in this case that I'm discussing, what happened is it was supposed to be a 1 minute long hearing, but suddenly it turned out to be a 2 hour hearing because I had to beg the judge to call the case later. So I stepped out with the client. I tried to get a hold of the agency responsible for the situation to try to get the information to convey to the DA. And I could not get anywhere because nobody was picking up the phone. And then I begged the client to bring his family over to testify to the judge that my client is in fact non-threatening and should be allowed to go home, because the judge was actually going to issue an order, a no contact order, meaning that my client would not be able to go home for the next few months until the next court hearing. And so suddenly this hearing that was supposed to be literally 1 or 2 minutes turned into a 2 hour hearing with a lot of arguing with the DA and with the judge. And so luckily I was there. Luckily my client did not assume that he could handle it by himself. I was there, we handled it, and we got the judge to allow my client to go home that day. And luckily it all turned out well, but it could have turned out pretty bad through no fault of my client. The attorney is there to take care of any problems if they arise, because the problem is you never know when the issue will happen, right? In my case, the one I'm describing, again, like I said, it was not my client's fault. It was because the prosecutor did not get the file from another agency on time. And it was not even a legal mistake. It was not anything that could have been easily fixed. But because I was there to argue for my client, and because I made the efforts, we avoided the situation where his life would be suspended.
好，今天非常感谢安娜律师为我们大家介绍，在处理简单的听证会或者是简单的案件的时候，找一位专业律师的意义哈。好，今天也感谢大家的收看，我们下期节目再见。
All right.
谢谢。